So this is Proton Pack number 2. This is a completely from the ground up designed by me. I'm completely did every single part in Fusion 360 from schematics found on gbfans.net. So everything is pretty much to spec from what you see in the online schematics. I didn't make any deviations from the schematics, so this one should also be fairly accurate. I designed this pack with this wand in mind. That is the newly released Hasbro Spengler wand. So because the Spengler wand has all the sound effects and lights built into it, the pack itself, the electronics, became heavily simplified. So I do all my own electronics. I don't use any other kits. So on this one, it was a matter of taking the electronics from my first pack, the design that I had on that one, and then scaling it down so that it's just lights. I don't have to worry about sound. I don't have to worry about the wand or anything else. All of that is handled by the Hasbro wand. Just like with the other Proton pack, it is designed with an Alice frame in mind to be worn as a backpack, so it is mounted to the Proton pack shell itself via the Alice frame. So I use several brackets for doing that. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So turn the lights on. And again, so the electronics are heavily simplified. I don't have to do anything with these, except for the cyclotron chase, which you can see again follows the clockwise pattern. It's a matter of debate whether the Ghostbusters Proton pack should follow the clockwise or counterclockwise. I kind of prefer the clockwise one. The lenses are all custom printed by me using translucent red, and the LED system inside of it, I'm using Adafruit 5mm diffused LEDs. And this is so that they're each addressable. The programming and logic design on the circuits inside, I'm using an 18 mega 328p. So basically, it's a variation of what you would get with an Arduino, except for it's custom built from the ground up. I'm not using an actual Arduino board. And then same thing, I'm using an addressable LED strip from Adafruit. This is the 16 or 2/8 LED addressable strips. So we have the chase pattern going with that. So now that we've got that out of the way, we've seen what the pack does. The pack is actually turned on and off with the crank knob, as opposed to the first Proton pack I built where the on-off was on the wand itself. Reason I did this was I didn't want to run wire through the loom that goes from the wand to the Proton pack itself. I did that with my first Proton pack, and I did that with the Poltergeist. And, just kind of worried that that is going to be a stress point, that eventually the wires may break and I have to take the whole thing apart and fix it. So in this case, the hose is just decorative. So let's go ahead and take the Proton pack off of the custom V hooks. So these are replica V hooks. These aren't actual, the Dixie cup ones. So let's look at the functions of the wand itself. We can turn the wand on. Sorry, we had the activate switch on. So it does a partial on. We pull the lever. This was something I didn't have in the first Proton pack because I didn't have the mechanics to make the tip of the wand pop out when you pull the lever, whereas Hasbro built that into it. So I can pull that and the tip of the wand comes out. I can turn on the Proton pack. You hear it vibrates. And this one has a continually running sound. I may modify the first one to do the same thing. I don't know. I don't know how much I like that or how much I don't. But I'm going to go ahead and turn on the arm. The bar graph indicator on the Hasbro wand does something I don't really care for. It's just a static light. It tells you what the intensity of the volume and the vibration is set at, which is adjustable via the knob at the top. So you could turn this left or right, and that changes the intensity, and that will up or down the bar graph. It also changes the vibration from the motor and somewhat of the volume of the sound. Sorry, I left it sitting idling too long, so it power cycles off. Sorry. Everything, that's one thing about this particular wand is that you have to wait for each sequence to finish before you do the next one, otherwise the next effect won't play. So right now it has all the effects from the video games, which I like. So it's in Proton Pack mode. So if I push the button, hold it down, you can hear the Proton Pack effect. And much like with the Master Replica Force Effects lightsabers, it's got a sequence of LEDs inside of the tip of the wand there that make it look like it's shooting out. Now, just like in the Ghostbusters video game, it has the different, solid blast or boson darts. Hold it down, Proton Pack. If you go push the orange button at the tip here, sorry, it will change modes. So now it's in the slime mode. If I just push the intensity button quickly, it makes the slime tether sound. And if I hold down the intensity button, it does the slime sound. And you can go through all the different various modes. And then finally, and that's the four modes from the video game. Let's put it back in Proton Pack mode. Now, one thing that this does that's very cool, I see this in a lot of replica packs, this has this built into the wand, is that you can fire the Proton Pack for about 60 seconds, and it will overheat. So you'll get the overheating effect for the video game. Give this a minute. And it shuts everything down. So you can't do anything until you fully recycle the Proton Pack. So you got to do a full power cycle. Before it'll work again. So very, very, very cool thing. I mean, it's very awesome that Hasbro made this. It's pretty accurate to what I've seen on screen. A lot of people have complained about things like the clipper valve. They don't like the clipper valve that's on there, so they've replaced them with newer ones. There's been several modifications where people have run audio out, going from the speaker and run it down into the pack itself where a much larger speaker would be. Some people have run double pole single throw switches on the Activate, so that when you flip this on, it will turn the pack on itself. Personally, I don't really care for that. I'm actually pretty happy with the power being on the crank knob. That way the crank knob actually has some functionality on my particular pack. I've done the weathering, and this is pretty much 100% designed by me. There's, I think the only thing I copied from an online schematic, or sorry, an online model on reprinted was the clippered valve from what I used on the first Proton Pack, which was a Thingiverse model from a gentleman by the name of Miley O'Reilly. So I reused that for the clipper pack on this one. I have since redesigned that from 3D. So what's different on his version versus mine is I actually have some texture and some vertical. God, I can't even think of the term right now. Sorry, having a bit of a brain fart. But this is not just a single smooth piece. There's actually lines that go up and down on it. So that is what I changed on mine. And then one other thing that changed between the first and second version of my pack is I'm actually using authentic hose clamp as opposed to 3D printing one that was very similar. I also removed the nipples right there. I really didn't care for the nipples on the 3D model, to be perfectly honest. But other than that, this is what my Proton Pack version 2 looks like.